Hello and welcome back to the Well Embroidered Studio, my little embroidery corner. If you're new here, my name is Sara and I am your embroidery tutor. In today's video, I wanted us to look at cutwork, which is a goldwork technique. And if you've been following the most recent videos that I've released, we're on kind of a bit of a goldwork theme, and that's because I'm super excited to launch the new Deep Dive into Goldwork course, which is going to be launching at the end of this month. If you like this video, then in the Goldwork course we've got so much more content, so many more hints and tips and tricks that I'm going to be sharing with you. So this is really just like a little snippet of what you'll get in the actual course. And I just want to share with you today some hints and tips for doing cutwork that really transformed my feeling about it. Because originally when I did it, I was like, yeah, okay, this is all right. This is good. I can do this. It's a bit of a struggle. But then my wonderful tutor Mandy shared with me some amazing, amazing tips. And it really transformed my feeling about it from being, yeah, this is good, to, oh, wow, I can do this and it looks really good. So that's what I want to share with you in this video, is what I share with you in the whole Goldwork course. It really is about transforming how you feel about goldwork, giving you more confidence, gaining more technical skill. So if you enjoy this, check the description box below. I've put a link for the course there. You can sign up to the wait list, or if you're watching this video a little bit later, there'll be a link to the actual course. So anyway, enough about that. Let's get on to the meat of the video and why you're actually here, and that's learning how to do cutwork. So cutwork is a little bit like satin stitch. So if you're familiar with that, you can apply the rules you're going to learn in this lesson today to satin stitch as well. In this video, we're going to work with smooth purl, but you can also work with bright check or rough purl or dull check. And we're basically cutting each length of purl to the desired length, and then we stitch it down like a bead. And the tips I'm going to share with you are really going to help change the angle so it flows round with that curve nice and smoothly. And if you watch till the end of the video, I've actually got some extra tips on how to work out where to bring the needle up. Because throughout this video you'll hear me say, bring the needle up on this side and take it down on this side, and that's really important. So at the end of the video I've shared a little, I'm drawing out on the screen, of how to work out what side to bring your needle up at and what side to take it down on. So let's get started, because we've got a lot to get through. So we're now going to look at doing our cutwork, and this is probably one of the trickiest techniques that you will come across. The reason being, it's very delicate, it damages quite easily, and you have to be quite accurate and precise. So I'm going to show you the curved shape, and for that we're going to use our smooth purl. We are going to work with a double waxed thread in a number 12 needle. And I'm bringing the needle up round about the centre of the design, because we want to start in the widest point. And I'm bringing my needle up on the design line. Now, when we're working a curved shape like this, it's best to have the angle going at 45 degrees across the shape. And the angle that you start off with is quite important. If it's a little bit straighter like this, that's not quite 45 degrees, you're going to find that the angle is going to be much straighter and it's not going to turn as nicely. So we're looking for about that with our angle, but anything like that is going to be too straight. Now when we're working out our angle, we're looking at the straight lines that we have here that are running parallel with one another and working out 45 degrees across there like that. As we work down the shape, because our shape turns, our angle will turn. So we're going to start here like this, and it's going to go along here like this, and it's going to turn like this, so that you are ending up with a longer stitch at the tip. What you don't want to see happen is it just straighten out and follow like here and maintain, and then you'll end up with a really short stubby stitch across the bottom. so it should flow and turn. So that's about the angle that we are looking at. Now I need to cut my smooth purl from here to here, allowing a little bit extra because obviously we've got the height to go over. So when I start, I do tend to guess the length of wire, the length of smooth purl, that I want to cut. Once we've threaded it onto our needle, we want to push this piece of smooth purl down, and I'm going to use the needle here as a guide to help me lay it smoothly. And you can clearly see this is far too long. That's about the angle I want to go. I need to cut it about there, so I need to trim it down quite a bit. It was about here, wasn't it? Of course, we have to guess a little bit for the first ones. Thread that back down on my needle. And again, I'm going to check to see if it's the correct length. Now, if I push my needle up against my thread here like that, I've got it at the right angle. That is sitting nicely. Both ends of the smooth purl are sitting flat on the fabric if I do that, which is exactly what we're looking for. So I'm now happy with that length. Before I stitch it down though, I'm going to pull it back up and get it over the end of my needle, and I'm going to use the length that I've just cut. I'm going to have that over the end of the needle there like that, and I'm going to use it as a guide to cut my next one. Now obviously as I work down the length, my pieces are going to get shorter and shorter and shorter, but you can sort of guesstimate that these ones in the middle are going to be the same. Now you can see this one on my needle here, one at the top, is considerably smaller than the one that I've just cut. So I know I need to trim this down a little bit. And being accurate with this cutting at the beginning will save you a little bit of time. It's still a fraction too long, and I'm literally just trimming off 1 or 2 coils. There we are. Once you are happy with that second piece that you've cut there, you can then take your first piece, push that down, and then we can take a stitch and hold that into place. So I'm going to go about here. And again, I'm going down on my design line, and I'm going to use my malure to lay my smooth purl nice and flat. If you pull too tight on this, this will damage. There, like that. So we've got our little 45-degree angle to start off with. Now I'm going to come up on the left-hand side, and I'm going to come up a bit further away than you think you need to. I'm coming up at least the width of my smooth purl away and a little bit more. And by coming up further away, and when we take our needle down, we're going to tuck it in close, that will help maintain our angle. So it's always a little bit further than you think you need to go. Now we pre-cut our previous little piece. So I'm going to use this one as a guide and cut the next one. Then we're going to take the original one that we cut, push it down on our thread, make sure it's touching the base of your fabric, and then we're going to check the length of this one. And again, to do that, I'm just going to use the needle to hold it in position, and if it's touching the fabric on the other side, that is the right length. Now when we take our needle down, this time we're going to angle our needle along with our padding. So our needle's always going to run parallel with our padding. You can see the padding's running along there like that. Needle's running along with it. I'm also trying to tuck my needle in as close as I can, but without sharing the same hole. And then we're going to pull that down. Now, if your piece of purl isn't the correct length, then obviously take it off, trim it down, or cut a new one if it's a bit too short. And there we have our second piece. Now you can see there's a little bit of a gap here. just a fraction of a gap here, which should close up when we put the next one in. So again, bringing it up on the left hand side, slightly further away, we're going to pick up the piece of purl that we just cut, use it as a guide to cut our new one. We'll have to start trimming these down soon, I should imagine, because our shape is tapering. Pop it over here like this, and then check it's the right length, that's looking good. Angle the needle in towards the previous piece, tucking it in nice and close. So there is our third piece. I'm going to start trimming these a fraction smaller now. Let's see if this one works. I think that's just a fraction too long. Can you see it's just extending out a little bit further away from the padding? So that one needs to be trimmed down. Now when I'm trimming down, we are literally talking about 1 or 2 coils. And I keep mine on the end of my needle to trim, so that I get control. You can see there, I've just cut off, I think that's probably only 1 coil. Let's see if that has made a difference. So this is the bit that's time consuming, is getting it to the correct length. And now you can see that just fits a bit snugger in that space. Now, if you're working in different directions, it's important that you sort of look from side to side so that you can see both edges and make sure that the smooth purl is long enough. What we don't want to see is any of our thread. Okay, now obviously I'm using red thread so you can see it a little bit easier, but when you come to work yours you don't want to be able to see it at all. So we'll come up again on the left hand side, slightly further away, thread on our new piece. We're cutting these new pieces now just a fraction shorter. So I've just trimmed down the one I'm going to put in, and that can go a little bit shorter. If they're too long and you stitch it down, what can happen is this can sit proud and it can move like that, and it can also crack and damage much more easily. And as I said, if it's too short, you will see your thread. I'm going to continue working down to the tip in the same way, and you'll see the angle change as we're going down. Yeah, that one's definitely too long. You can see that one there. Definitely need to start trimming these a bit smaller now. If you trim it too small, don't worry, it's not the end of the world, because you can always use that smaller bit for another section. That to me looks a little bit short. I can see just a bit too much red. So always bringing it up slightly further away and tucking it in close. And again, fraction too long. You may have trimmed off a little bit too much there. Let's see. That's okay. Trim that one down. Again, if you do one the wrong length and you need to unpick it, you can use the same method I used for the chipping to show you how to unpick that. So just hold your needle underneath at the correct angle that you took it down at, and then pull through. It's always best if you can to catch any pieces that might be wrong sooner rather than later. That's a bit too long, that one. And we'll start to see now the angle turn as we go round our shape. So you can see here we have reached the end of our line. Got a couple more stitches to put on though, but you can see how as the angle of the curve has changed, the angle of the cutwork has matched it. So we started at that angle and then we've followed it round and kept flowing round. So we end up with a longer stitch at the end rather than a short stitch going across there like that. That's the difference in our angle. So we're going to come up, still come up a little bit further away. We're still going to tuck in nice and close. The length of our pieces now are much, much shorter. That is too long. And actually, if I put this down here, I'm a bit far away there because I can just see a little bit of my padding. So I need to bring this stitch up a little bit closer than I have done. So let's correct that. Again, we're still angling the needle along with the edge of the padding, tucking it in as close as we can. I'm just using my malure to help stop it falling off the end there as well. Now, from the top, you can probably see that it looks like it's totally covered. But when you look at it from the side, you can still see a little bit of padding there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one more stitch on. And we're going to come down a fraction lower again. And this is almost going to be a straight stitch that is just going to finish off this end. And it ensures that all the padding is totally covered. Again, this is a very short piece. And again, tucking that needle in. And like that. So that's finished off that end. All our padding is covered and we've ended up with a nice longer stitch here rather than a shorter stitch going across. Once you've completed one half, we're then going to come back to the middle and work the other half in the same way. With this one though, we'll be coming up on the right hand side, slightly further away, so same rules apply, and we'll be taking it down on the left hand side, tucking it in nice and close. So I've started off my thread, again on the design line, bringing the needle up on the right hand side this time. Slightly further away, we'll get a new piece of smooth purl. Again, I've just guessed the length of this because I didn't keep my old one. And that is looking just a fraction long. Yes, I need to trim that down. Again, use our needle as a guide to help us lay it. That looks about right. And then this time, we're still going to follow the same rules, tucking it in nice and close. But it's on the left-hand side this time. Now you may find this trickier to see, so you might want to flip your frame over. Tucking it in close, needle is still running parallel with the padding. And if you are having trouble seeing this, flip your frame around or your hoop around so that it's easier for you to see. Again, up on the right hand side, tucking it in nice and close on the left hand side. So this, you'll continue working in the same way up to the tip, exactly as we did the other end. So we're going to now look at how to determine which side of the shape to bring the needle up and which side to take the needle down when you are working your cut work and you are working at a 45-degree angle. We'll start off with this shape here, and let's say we've started in the middle and we want to work down towards the bottom. You'll notice that we have a small angle here and a big angle here. Now where we have the big angle is always where we want to bring the needle up. So we'll bring it up here, slightly further away, take it down here, tucking it in nice and close to work towards the bottom. If you're working in the opposite direction, so we're starting in the middle but we're working upwards, you've got your big angle here and you've got your smaller angle here. So in that one, we're going to be bringing our needle up on the right hand side and taking it down on the left hand side. The same rule applies for whatever shape you are working when you have a 45-degree angle. Now, I say that there are slightly different rules if you're working a leaf shape, but we will be looking at that in level 3. For a single cutwork shape, these are the rules. So now let's look at this shape here. So let's say we're going to work towards the right hand first. We have a small angle here, we have a big angle here. So we're going to bring the needle up on the top edge, slightly further away, and taking it down in the smaller angle and tuck it in nice and close. Obviously, when we work in the opposite direction over towards the left hand side, we now have our big angle here, so this is where we'll bring the needle up on the bottom edge, slightly further away, and we've got the small angle here, so we'll tuck it in nice and close where we have the small angle. Let's look at the other shape below. So here, if we're working in this direction over to the right hand side, we've got our big angle here, so that's where we'll bring the needle up slightly further away. The small angle here, so that's where we're going to take the needle down and tuck it in nice and close. For the opposite direction, we've got a big angle here, so this is where we'll bring it up slightly further away. Smaller angle here, so we tuck it in nice and close there. So you can see we've got different angles, or the angles are heading in different directions, but it's still the same rule that applies. Now, just for argument's sake, let's look at a slightly curved shape. And let's say we're going to head downwards first. Okay, so where have we got our big angle? Well, it's here. So this is the side that we're going to bring the needle up on the left hand side. We've got a smaller angle here, so we're going to take it down, tucking it in nice and close on the right hand side. Then the opposite rule applies for going upwards. So we've got the small angle here, we'll tuck it in nice and close there, and we've got the bigger angle here, so that's where we'll bring the needle up on the right hand side. Again, it's going to work exactly the same way for these other shapes. So if you're working in this direction here, you've got your big angle here, you've got your small angle here, and then working in this direction, you've got your big angle here, so this is where you're going to bring it up. You've got your small angle here, so this is where you're going to take it down and tuck it in nice and close. And then last but not least, the final one. Let's say we work to the right hand side first, and it doesn't matter whether you go to the right or the left, the top or the bottom, that doesn't matter. We've got our big angle here, so we bring the needle up on this side, small angle here, we take it down, tuck it nice and close on that side. And then again, for the opposite direction, big angles here, so that's where we're going to bring it up. Small angles here, so that's where we'll take the needle down. And it's this rule that always ensures that we are able to maintain our 45-degree angle. So if you follow these rules, sometimes you have to tweak them a little bit by bringing it up a fraction further away if you're going around a really sharp corner, or sharp turn I should say, or curve. But on the whole, this is the rule you want to be following to create smooth flowing angles. So that's everything from me for this video. If you liked it, do hit the like button and subscribe if you found it useful, because I want to share more hints and tips with you coming up in the future. If you want to learn more about the gorgeous, lovely, fabulous Goldwork technique, then you can by clicking the link in the description about the up-and-coming Deep Dive into Goldwork course, which is launching at the end of the month. Those on the wait list get 10% off the full price, so it's definitely worth signing up to the wait list. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Let me know how you get on with your cut work, and I'll see you all soon.